Hello there! Welcome back to Charles Circle, and welcome back to Old World. Last time, we finally pushed back out on offense. We stabilized our diplomatic situation, we got a gunpoint truce with the Vandals, we bought a temporary peace with Aksum, and we neutralized a hostile leader in Babylon, which allowed us to focus on clearing a Danish tribal site, where we've dropped our first new city in quite a few episodes, I think. And, I said at the end of last episode, we're not all the way back on our toes. We've got, for example, a half dozen raiders right here threatening our capital, naturally. But we're no longer on our heels, which is a great start. So, today, it's time to keep pushing forward. We just popped out another settler somewhere around here. There he is. So we should probably start by clearing out a city site to take advantage of that. I think we're probably going to push to find one out in this direction, west of our capital. This area, this entire sort of peninsula, overall, occupied by the Numidians, has kind of increased in priority in my mind. I had been thinking we would push out east here because this sort of felt like the borderlands between us and the other players, and that is still true, and I wouldn't mind doing that in a vacuum. But I started to think about, as we've gained sort of the scouting knowledge from this poor broken boat, imagining, okay, there's this space here, and it's guarded, essentially, by way of it being across a sea. It's very unlikely that, at least in the short term, we are competing directly with our neighbors for that. But naval technology is improving as the game goes on, and, Babylon is certainly running out of other places to go here, tucked into the corner, for example. And, if we think about a war later in the game, there's a huge difference in how we would be able to fight that war against, say, Aksum, who is kind of the front runner right now. If we were only fighting down here, around this borderland here around Kem, versus if they also had cities over here and could threaten our capital from the other side. That would be very much worse, right? And so I think it's more important that we sort of lock in this area, this continuous landmass, even if that does come at the expense of pushing out as aggressively out here to the east. So, I think we'll probably prioritize that, and in the short term, because we also very much need to neutralize the pile of units that Numidia is currently throwing at us. So, that'll be the plan for this episode, I think, is to focus pushing out this direction. Ideally, we settle a city site in relatively short order. That won't stop us if we do it early, but I do kind of want to make sure that we get that down one way or another before the end of the episode. So, let's get into it. All right, first couple things I want to do before we get into moving units around. I realized we have a luxury that we need to resend because we had our furs pillaged again. That's happened a few times this game so far. So let's send it. We already, I believe, yes, we are still sending it to the right family who needs it. So we should just pick basically our biggest city that doesn't yet have it. Now, Waset already has it. Petakeka does not, Kem does not, Moreau does not, Buen does not. I think the answer here is probably Petakeka is our biggest city and has the highest level of discontent so far. So that's probably where it was before. I don't recall. It's where it's going now, for sure. And then I think we need to get remarried, or I guess remarried. Our leader here has gone through, I think this will be her fourth husband, I'm relatively sure. And then I think the question here becomes, this is a diplomatic relation, right? We can pick a family to get better opinion with them. We can pick a foreign nation or tribe to get better opinion with them. I don't know that I want to get close ties necessarily with any of the tribes. Certainly we're going to end up going back to war with the Vandals sooner rather than later. We're still at war with the Danes. We're going to intentionally be at war now with Numidians. And I don't want to get pulled into defending the Scythians. I hope they do well. I hope that they last a long time. slowing down the expansion of our friends here, but I don't want to get pulled into any of their wars. I don't want to defend them necessarily. So then we could look at our foreign options here. Oxum, I really want to be pleased with us, but I also don't necessarily want long-term ties to, because I do think they are our biggest direct competitor, and they do share a border with us. Like, this will be a war. Hopefully not anytime soon, but probably eventually. Hattusa, Babylon, not that important. They are barely doing as well as we are, and we're hopefully skyrocketing faster than they are. I wouldn't buy futures on their builds right now. So, I mean, the other thing we could do would be Carthage as like a strong counterbalance to Oxum. And there's maybe some value in that. It would be nice to have a peaceful border out here, and that's the sort of thing that would probably take a little bit of time to set up. So we could do that, and maybe we will, because if I look here at our various families, everyone's doing okay, you know what I mean? Like, we don't really need to worry about this too much. The 200 mark is a pretty nice jump in bonus, right? You get, we go here from a 5% combat bonus for each of those units to a 10% combat bonus. This is like a free promotion. You should think about it that way, essentially. That's the combat skill. Not to mention the gold we get from reduced maintenance, and depending on the exact character archetypes, there can be some other minor stuff too. I don't know. Maybe we should do that. Carthage is too far away to be as primary of a concern. I think it's probably better that we get more out of what we have. All right, I've talked myself into it. Who's farther away? Yeah, I think the answer here is going to be the landowners, because the riders are short a city, and if we just give them the next city that we found, that'll resolve that. These guys have more fundamental issues with us. Okay, so landowners, marriage, done. That's our logic for it. So let's get married. Family marriage, landowners. Bam. Okay. Cool. The other thing we could do with some of our council up here would be to try to run some personal missions. I think let's get our units sorted first, and maybe our tech. This is finally administration is, again, this like starting technology for about half the civs in the game. So I think maybe we'll finally grab that so we can build a couple granaries. We do have a couple cities who could use the growth at this point, and there are plenty of farms out on our map in general. And then let's take a peek at some of these events. So Jewish missionaries, those are different things, are offering to convert chem for gold, or a pretty not insignificant malice to the Hittites' opinion of us. I actually think we want Judaism to be in chem. And so I might have paid for this even if we weren't faced with this opinion malice as the other option, but we do have to come up with the money. I think we're going to come back to this at the end. I just want to be sure that we can afford it first. There might be something more pressing for us. And another religious event. And so the question is, do we get ourselves a nice little bonus here? A minor heresy that gives us some bonus attribute points with a tiny decrease in opinion to Judaism, which I think we can handle. I think that's probably the answer, and also we don't have another option, so okay, fine. And then our spy master is suspicious of Hati as well, and is offering to do a free infiltrate nation mission. We weren't going to do anything else with the spy master this turn. It's free. This is essentially the game offering us $400 and 2 orders worth of resources to do this. So we'll take that, I think. And I would really like to, if we infiltrate their nation, we should reveal some of the map out this way, an area that is difficult and far for us to scout. Would be nice to get a little bit more vision over there. Nice to have, not need to have, but it is nice to have. So, good. All right, we'll come back to that event. Let's get our units moving around. So we need to prioritize getting our units out here to push in this area. And I think we actually kind of need to worry about holding the line here too. So let's maybe do that first. This guy has done a good job buying time, but is officially hurting too much to absorb any more hits. So I think we'll shoot here, and we'll shoot here, I suppose, and bring him back into, what, the city proper even? Is that worth the extra order just to ensure he's not going to get hurt? No, I think it'll be okay. I'd rather he doesn't get attacked and need heal again, but I think that's a risk we're willing to take. And then let's send other unoccupied units this direction. Out here, I'm not comfortable leaving Moreau alone. The Vandals could attack us at any point, and there are often tribal raids coming from this area as well. So I think you get a promotion. What kind of promotion? Let's say Shield Bearer. A lot of times these are like skirmishing units out this direction. So let's do that and heal here. And then up this way. So this is a question. What do we do here? This is more than we need, these units out this way. We could send some of them up here. I think there's another Danish tribe up this way. We've seen units peeking around here. Or we could say, let's just hold this line, and it's a pretty good defensive space. This is hard to send a bunch of troops through quickly. And then reallocate the extra troops out this direction to push harder here. I think we need to do that. Let's commit hard to doing this properly, rather than sort of trickling it. So let's see. I think we do still want to heal, so I think that's going to be one extra turn there. Same here, but then next turn we'll send them through those woods. This guy, I suppose we need to keep one unit out here, right? I think we do. I think we do. So let's keep him, I don't know, here. We did also finally research the archer technology. Of course, we need a bunch of wood that we don't have, nor the cash to purchase it right away. So we're going to have to be very, let's say, intentional about which of these units we upgrade and when. For example, I think we probably actually prioritize this one and or this one, because we need the active combat area, not the maybe might be combat area in the future. We'll do them all eventually, as quickly as we can, but that's a lot of wood. It's 100 wood per, which, right, obviously quite a bit of cash. Quite a bit of cash for now. Okay, so then we have 12 orders left. We have this guy we said we're good on. This guy, I think, do we reallocate him? I think we need a unit down this way. These slums keep popping. They shouldn't. And in 11 turns, they'll stop being slums and they'll develop into a hamlet, which we still haven't had a chance to really talk about properly as a line of building, but it'll stop spawning rebels, at least. That's the most important thing you need to know right now. I would say one more turn of healing up here and then we'll make a call, but I do think we probably need to keep a unit at least down this way, regardless. Okay. From here then, we've got 11 orders left and a bunch of builders. And I think what I'd really like to do is get our road network, I mentioned this, that cuts through these hilly forests, or forested hills, however you prefer to think about it, because we are, as you can see, trying to move units back and forth here to reallocate against a couple different fronts. We need to be able to move our troops around efficiently within our borders. And it's not just about, can they get from here to there in one turn? It's even if they could already, if they go on roads, it costs less orders, right? So this is another one of those, unique lenses that the order system also helps you or forces you to take, which is kind of cool. So I think we'll do with Control R, the Road to mode, our urban tiles, all of them, already have a road on them by default. So what we really need to do is just place roads on our remaining rural tiles, both within and without our city borders. And so I think we'll do something like this. You know, you actually can move very easily on and off of water that is in your city's actual borders. But I just like having these roads for the sake of completion as well. So let's start here. And actually, now that I think about it, yeah, it's going to cost us a ton of stone. Can we even do that? I mean, 10 stones, $100? Like, no, not really, we can't. Let's sell down what we know we don't need and see where that puts us. Yeah, I mean, maybe we really can't afford the roads yet. All right, you know what? Yeah, I'm taking it back. We can't quite yet. So let's instead focus on, let's say, getting some wood, perhaps, so that we can do our upgrades. And I suppose we could move our settler. We're going to need to do that eventually too anyway, so we might as well. All right, so there's that. Let's get this guy. Well, okay, so is chopping wood important, or is getting an improvement that generates a ton of cash for us important? I think the argument here is probably actually that we should keep doing our mines, really. Yeah, let's do that instead. That will give us enough cash that we can then go buy whatever we need. That is reacting to the market value of these resources. What are we building here? Probably a miner to expand the borders. What else would we do? We could do an apprentice officer, which would be nice. We don't really need this city churning out units, but it will eventually be a pretty good one, right? Because we'll build the miners, and they add a small but eventually quite meaningful in total amount of training. So this will actually end up being a half-decent unit production city. So there's an argument for it, but I'm not going to buy the food that I just sold to do that. So I think what we'll do, the thing we can afford right now, is the first miner. Let's do the one that expands our borders. Great. 6 more orders. What to prioritize? Even more mines, I suppose. Straightforward. How about out here? This guy's a wrong city, wrong family builder. He was up here to help repair. We could relocate him and maybe even get him down here for getting a range up. We do want this city to be our unit production city, as we've said a couple times, but it doesn't have a lot in the way of natural rural improvements that are going to help with that. There aren't many mines here. So the urban tile improvements that generate them are pretty valuable. Even if we're not going to build many ranged units, the range as a building, as an improvement, is going to add value for us here as well. Of course, we don't have the cash for the wood. Do I want to stress on that? Maybe what we do is, in fact, let's use this guy to chop some wood, right? So we'll cut the trees in a sustainable way, right? These will still grow back. And we'll go over here and we'll do this again. So instead, we just got 40 wood, which obviously we need because we use, but is also the equivalent of $300 worth, 300 gold worth of resource purchases avoided, right? So that's another way to look at that, which is better value for our orders. And then remind me, we needed 200 for this, 230, which I am willing, I think, to immediately sell. Even here. Let's do that, and there we go. And now we have Judaism, in chem. And that's not just for the sake of it. It also gives us a decrease in discontent because we have our state religion being present, and that religion also separately is pleased with us, which is another happiness. So that's good. That will help slow down that a little bit more. And we're out of orders. So let's go. Let's see how this goes. I'm a little worried that this slinger is now officially outmatched. I would hate to lose it, so let's see. Oh my. Oxum declares war on Hati. This, by the way, is why we didn't get particularly close with Hati, because I don't want to get pulled into anything that Oxum does. I'm also very happy when our competitors fight amongst themselves, because, as I said, they will kill a lot of each other's units. War is expensive in this game, and even if that ends up helping Oxum in the longer run, it will come at a cost to them, which we will let them pay. Here's a question. Steel, we don't really need so much because the Axemen unit is an alternate to the Spearmen in terms of like base combat strength, but it has sort of different counters, right? It's an anti-Spearman unit and it does sort of splash melee damage. That's nice, but we've already built out, I think, a pretty decent number of our melee units. And quite frankly, the Spearman is a better match for us right now. We are going against more mounted units than we are against infantry. So I don't know that we want to go into that. And I'm pretty sure, again, that we aren't going to spend science on a free single melee unit at this point in the game either. One that does not represent a big technological jump for us. So here, do we go coinage, which will allow us to run the Pacify City Chancellor mission. That will decrease unhappiness in our cities, which is good, and also allows the market urban improvement, which is gold, 30% gold. Every dollar of gold now becomes $1.30 of gold that we produce in that city. It also gives boosts to harbors, which we haven't gone into at all yet as a not particularly coastal civilization on a not particularly coastal map. But is a nice little back and forth there that can really get your gold going between those two improvements. A lot of good synergy there. So this is neat. I don't know if we need it. It would be helpful. Here, I've told you before, I really like the courthouse. We got one for free in our capital earlier because, my favorite, it gives 20% to civics. Civics, my beloved. We also already have Divine Rule, I think, already unlocked. So this isn't incredibly important either. So none of these are obvious layups, so maybe we should just glance at the tech tree in general and see what would be most important kind of going forward. Like, what can we unlock that we aren't thinking of directly there? And the answer there is not a ton necessarily, but I think what I'd really like to get is forestry. We really need to get lumber mills up. This is the way that you eventually, and probably sooner than we have so far, this is how you actually get continuous wood production instead of just chopping. And the issue is that we don't have polis in our draw hand to research right now. So maybe what we need to do is just get through any tech quickly to get there. And from that perspective, let's go steel. Fast, helpful, will unlock other stuff anyway. Here, yikes. We got to figure out what we're doing to defend this city. Let's start by seeing who else we can bring in here. You're close enough. I don't think any of these melee units is... Yeah, this is a 2-turn slog without roads. Unfortunate. And this guy, yeah, already there's another raid going on there, so I think we have to keep that guy where he is. do we bring this guy up? Yeah. Okay, so I think what we're going to do, we're going to bring him along. This road is faster. We are going to buy another turn by sort of strafing and backpedaling here. Do we target the horses, the better unit, or the one where we can do more damage? I think we'll go here for now and see, will this get us the kill? It will not, but if we went here it would. This is sticking our neck out a little bit much, I think. So I think we'll pass on that. This guy needs to heal, but just curious, yeah, he would do great damage here. No, we are not messing around. We're not taking risks here. Let's simply chip away. Oh, an event. Our heir, who is also the general of the light chariot that just made an attack here, is inspiring. Cool. And what are we getting here? We're getting a promotion, a different promotion, or a third promotion. Do we want to heal continuously, which is nice. This doesn't require you to stop and use your unit's cooldown to heal, but it's obviously only 1 HP, which is not a ton. Or fierce. We're not fighting a lot of infantry units. We already talked about that with the axemen versus the spearmen, or 25% versus tribal units. So we're still fighting a bunch of tribal units. Again, I've talked about how this is like a short-term promotion, because eventually we will run out of tribes to fight and we'll have to fight our actual proper neighbors and this will become useless. But it's not useless right now. It's quite helpful right now, so I think we actually do need to do that. Here, do we just heal in place? Or do we want to step back a little bit? Oh my gosh, we can range him from there because it's on a hill and we have the additional range. That's pretty cool. Could we do it from here even? Wow, we could, and that's great. That's pretty impressive. That unit's already there on cooldown, so it's not happening, but I mean, I think we take the risk to secure the kill. Wow, what a shot. The guy's got quite the arm if he's flinging a stone the entire radius of our city borders. What an arm. Okay. Here's our family marriage offer. We have 2 folks who are on the table for us. We have a bitter, deceitful, impulsive scholar who doesn't like us already. Doesn't seem like a very good start. And he's got net negative stats, a total of -1 if you add those up. Well, this guy sucks. I have nothing good to say here. Could you be... Yeah, you're just fine, which is going to work for us. Wow, it's not usually that obvious. We'll do that. I gotta go back and look. Did I miss that like the dowry here is $1 million or something? It's not. It's like a little bit more wood. Yeah, obviously we're taking that. Okay, great, fine, no problem. What units do we have left? So we've got these guys who we want to swing around here, so let's do that. Gosh, this is just so order expensive, unfortunately, to go through these areas, but we just don't have the stone to build these roads yet. All right, I'm going to stop complaining about it and just deal with it. It still needs done. It is still a good use of our orders. We really need more generals. It's too bad. Should we give a promotion at least? Strike 2. It's pretty good. This guy's gonna hit hard. And then, do either of you guys, you're pretty close, so we might as well. How about, there's a lot of hills where we're going. That'll be a helpful one to have. And you, yeah, we still have, let's say, None of these are particularly helpful, so I'm not going to prioritize it. Let's see. You, I think, are going to heal one more turn. Let them come to us. I think you are going to stay there pretty much indefinitely for now. Let's see how long until that changes. Settler will bring on out this worker. Let's get back working again. What do I want to prioritize here? I think we said, yeah, we said ranges would be good. So, and that's even the recommendation. So let's do that. Out here, also range is recommended, but I think we're going to save these for lumber mills. And maybe this becomes a mine. Or we actually don't have our garrison in this, do we? Yeah, we don't. We don't have our garrison in this city. It got pillaged, right? Did it not? Maybe we did actually add it. I'm remembering we lost our one worker over here. Am I missing it? We must have it somewhere, I guess. Or does it need to be on an urban tile? Yeah, urban adjacency. Okay, so it's just a bad tile selection on my part. But I don't see a good tile selection. I guess this is it. Yeah, sure, sold. Let's get that down. As a reminder, right, the garrison is important for building our unique units. That will be important when we can get to the next level of this, which is the stronghold. But that requires more laws to be adopted as well. So, we don't have the cash for this either. My goodness, okay. Never mind, we need to get back to raw resource generation. Wild. So this will be a mine too, plus some wood. Very good. How about down here? What are we looking at? Nice. So this this trapper is here. So that means that this is now available for us to improve to, which I would love to do, but we can't actually click on this turn. So would it be better to get this guy building, for example, a granary here for adjacency to the farms? I mean, it could be, right? On the other hand, this is not a city that really needs growth right now. We're still actually behind on building our specialists. So, okay. The other thing we could do would be to try to evacuate this guy and bring him back out and around, which I do think we are going to do. He'll be helpful. I'll show you this. There's a really cool functionality for transporting units in this game across water, which I think might be helpful as we try to flank around this area. So it'd be good if we could get him back. We do have to escape the ranged attacks here, and it'll still be quite a few turns, but I think that would be something to start working on bringing back. How's this gonna go, do you think? Yeah, there we go. He's looking, he's watching. A wonder beginning in Oxum again. All right. Oh, great. Cool. The Vandals want to fight again, or... And they're paying us, right? We have tribute from them, and them declaring war is going to cost us that money. We can basically just give up that money, right? Because they're paying us 38 a turn. And this is basically if we say, well, we'll forgive you the next 10 turns, which is not all of the turns that they'll still be paying us, I don't think. How would I even look at that? Tribute from the Vandals. Yeah, 30 turns. So basically, if we give them a 10-turn reprieve, they'll keep at peace and give us 20 more turns of tribute after that. I think we'll probably be at war eventually anyway, but point being, I'm actually fine with giving them... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Giving them some cash to hold that off. So we're going to do that. A mercenary band of chariots has arrived. Oh, free unit. Well, free if I can afford it, which, yeah, wouldn't you know. That said, though, I think we actually probably could. So let's sell a little bit down here. What do we say? It was like $500 some. Pay them for their services. Seti, the governor of Pitakeka. Oh, we can get an order from this upgrade. We can get 2 growth from this upgrade, or we can, and remember what this city is for, we can give our new mounted units built here 100 XP. This is our, in theory, once we get around to it, this is our mounted unit production city. So I think we give him equestrian and hope we remember to take advantage of it. Let's see. All right, out here. Oh, brilliant. And the mercenary chariot even starts like on our front lines by accident because that's where our capital is. Cool. Happy to see that. So how do we clear this out? It's a spearman. So I think we'll try to line this up nicely. Should be a lot of good counter damage there. Oh, does this have route? I keep doing this. It does. So if we go here, watch this. I think this should work. Because we kill, see where it says route, we kill this unit. Thank you for the tutorial. Pause and read if you like. Now, we can attack again. So if you can use cavalry units like this to chain kills together, you can really boost your action economy, which is something to be desired for sure. Go ahead and grab the kill there. Heal. Heal. I want to upgrade some of these to archers before we push out, but they have to be fully healed before you can upgrade them, so we'll need to do that regardless. Let's get these units across the water here. I guess like so. And this one also start to push out. Very good. Up here, I mean, look at that range, right? He's going to stick to the woods probably, so this will be a bit of a... We'll probably kite him, drop back, you know, do what we have to do there, but I think he'll be okay to hold that spot. What do we even do with this city? Let's try to remember what we're doing here. Okay, it's up against mountains. We want this to be a quarry-producing city. So, like, finally, right? Like, we've been needing to build a bunch of quarries for forever. We've been really struggling on stone. The good news about quarries is they get adjacency bonuses, significant ones, for being next to mountains. Finally, we have a city whose borders are actually next to mountains. And wouldn't you look at that, rather than that base 5 terrible tile yield we get most places, now we start to see things like 9 and at least 7. So we're going to take advantage of that. I do also need to build this, though. Do we go 10 food, or do we go 9 stone? They're about the same, but this is getting worse and worse, so we're going to go here. We'll get that eventually, probably pretty soon. I almost think I kind of want another worker here already. I do think that. This can turn into a decent little tucked away in the corner production city for us for basic resources, which is exactly why you have the landowners, right? They build specialists fast, they have more growth, etc. So very good, we'll take that. Idle military unit here. We should probably get out in this direction and at least start skirmishing with these units as they run by. We don't want him to get pincered, so let's at least occupy and make them pay for walking by. And then 4 units, or 4 here. All right, so we obviously aren't going to run our settler out to the front line here. He's close enough. He will follow. We don't need to rush that right now. What other workers do we have? Just these 2 then. I think I saw another elephant. Yes, this was such a great border pop. Very happy to have seen that. Let's get that camp going. I think that's probably the best move. You can do nothing with 1 order, but our boat can get 1 turn closer. I think this is safe, but I'm worried it's not. Roll the dice. We're gonna find out. Oh yeah, we should produce some things. This being our capital city again, we still have 2 more turns before we can produce another specialist. So what do we do with those 2 turns that doesn't cost a whole bunch of resources and money to buy that we don't have? We also don't want to do anything in the growth producing section, because the whole point is we need to wait 2 turns for our next specialist, and that gets put on hold if you spend your growth. If you spend your growth on something else. So could do a little bit of a boost here. Would cost some gold, but Archive's not a bad city project, nor is Treasury. I mean, 10 gold's not terrible. And if we do eventually get the professional army law, which is a pretty good one for whatever it's worth, it would also improve training. And some gold in the meanwhile. Sure. Basically, we get 100 gold when it's complete. That's going to pay back this purchase, so we're going to spend 1 turn to get 10 bucks for forever. That's my calculus. So we're going to do that. What are we doing at Pitakeka? Probably a specialist. Which specialist? Thinking here about border opportunities. Not much here, 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 here. Yeah. Well, what do we actually need then? Orders is good. It's really hard to complain about orders. Yeah, I think it's as simple as that. Grab the orders. And then over here, similarly, I think here it's not about orders, it's about borders. And with that in mind, I think this is our best possible of the many farmers that we would do, even though technically that one produces a little bit more. Good. Next turn. How old is our leader? 50. Okay. I don't know that this is the case, but I do kind of feel like they're pretty cool about the player's leader living a long time. If outliving 4 husbands wasn't enough of a tip on that front, I've had leaders live to like 80, which is ridiculous compared to how early most of the other characters die. So, we have an event. It's maybe good, maybe bad. All right. They return with numerous pieces of intelligence, escaping without arousing any suspicion. Tremendous. Secured several areas of unpopulated land near our borders. Wow. We get 3 border tiles in Moreau, and we reveal the territory. Ati. Okay. Wow, look at all those marshes. This is a map, by the way, where you take centralization so you can build farms on marshes. That's a very hit or miss law, but man, when it hits, that's a pretty good hit. They're on either side of a weird mountain range, which is kind of funny. Okay. Okay. They are not going to be a problem for us. And in fact, they're very well defended, which means as much as I would worry about their relative strength to Oxum, with whom they are at war, I actually think they're going to be okay, or at least it's going to be very painful for Oxum to totally kill them. Now, they might very well push them out of here. We'll see how that goes. But Hati's also kind of spreading a lot. Like, that's a lot of cities. 2, 4, 6. We are happy we've just got our 5th down. So, okay. Good. Good to get intel. And when we can afford to, we'll probably do that again I don't know. We'll see who we want to risk irritating. But it's very good to have that information. Okay. The invite. The day approaches. What day approaches? Oh, this is our latest wedding. Oh, no, it's not. This is a we're 50 and have been ruling for a while party, I guess. Cool. Okay. So we have to decide who is an honored set of guests. The ruling couple of Hati or our general and a character of ours. I mean, I think we don't really need the diplomatic bump to Hati. I'm not worried about them, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to get entangled in their stuff, as I've said a couple times. So we're going to celebrate our own internal folks. Oh my. So we can get some gold, or we can have some fun. Well, this is a game about characters, so let's have some fun. All right, and then, what a segue. Yeah, our bastard son, who we got the last time we did one of those, seems to have converted to Judaism, which is great. We will, do we want to spend a bunch of civics to give him a character trait? I don't think we do. It's a lot of civics. Right, just using this one as an example, 2 civics per turn, right, would take 50, 65 turns to pay this back. It might pay back over his lifetime. And that's not to say that that's the only way to value that, but just to illustrate it. Something that might pay back over a character's lifetime if they live a full life is not a great spend. From my perspective, we'll just give him some XP. Childhood fight. Same kid is fighting with his kid, and oh, he's real sad. He's real scared. He's worried. What do? Do we punish the kid who punched our kid? Or make them better, but sad? I mean, I don't know. We really can't afford to have our heirs angry at us and such. But this guy is the head of a pretty important family. Tough choice. Tough choice. This also hurts our character's stat generation. Yeah, I mean, I think we just got to figure out how to counter that. I think we'll try to teach him the hard lesson and hope that he one day learns to respect us for it. Fingers crossed. I don't know that he will. Okay. Let's see if we can't chain together another route kill, right? Wouldn't that be cool? So let's say here, and then let's bring our ranged unit here. Nice. From trees versus general versus damaged. I think of infantry or range, this still counts. And then, this is a good point. This is our heir, not us yet, but our heir. They will rule one day. So not just what will their value as a general for one unit be, but they will be a leader. And so you should probably also read this second part. So sure, starting now and for forever, 25% attack and defense strength if you're in trees is good for that single unit. But it's also, once they're a leader, 10% for all units from trees. Same thing here, but it's versus a general. Versus a general is pretty much useless against tribes, and helps when you're fighting other nations, I guess, but same as using the, what is it, bloodthirsty? Is that the, no, what's the steadfast, the one that's against tribes. Bloodthirsty is good. Ranger, also good. Where are we likely during our heir's lifetime to be fighting our battles, though? I think, in an ideal world, we've settled all of this forested nonsense, and we're probably fighting more like out here. And it'd be lovely, you know, to take advantage of this big forest, but I don't want to be constrained by that. I think first damaged is the more flexible thing to have general access to. So we're going to do that. And then let's see if we can't get a route kill together here. So 1. And in fact, could we even do... Well, not that there isn't a third unit for this to also attack, but it could be kind of fun to chain together another kill. I think we need another ranged unit here. But let's just, for the sake of it, you're going to need to anyway. Okay. So that's sorted. Maybe we sneak over here and heal with him before pushing out. Still want to upgrade. Not that we have the wood for it. You can come forward and heal at least. And then these two, I'm starting to feel like we're over-rotating in this direction, but at the same time, look at this. Look at this nonsense. That deserves the attention that we're giving it, so I think we need to do that. Bring these guys along. If we have other orders left, I might advance him. Certainly I feel safe at this point going forward a few spaces, but if there's a better thing we could be doing, and yes, there absolutely is, my goodness. Let's come on back here. Jeez, actually. This is potentially actually a concern. I think he's got to keep chipping away there. Oh, that's a nicely timed critical. That'll help us wrap that up sooner, hopefully. But you probably need to abandon your mine. You're already hurt. And trying to survive unnecessarily riskily is what got us a worker killed out here earlier, so should probably at least try to learn from our mistakes a little bit, right? And Wasset. Cool. So we have one more turn here until we can pop our next specialist. I think we'll do just one turn of council there to buy a bridge. And let's go. This is very funny. This is what I was talking about, right? Babylon has figured out a way to get over here. We need to get over and take these city sites before it costs us a war with Babylon to capture them instead. What you can see, and this is a little preview, but this little green set of squares there, my gosh, sorry, it keeps jumping back. That's how you move units across. We'll probably show it here in a moment with that boat. But what you do, and in fact, I'm just going to show it in Control-Z, and maybe we'll move it back if we don't. But what you do is you set up a boat here, and you press the anchor button, and within that range, and you can chain these together, you can move land units across. And so they're a land bridge, essentially. And you don't have to load them individually onto one boat and then micro-ferrying things back and forth, which is such a pain, and the very old school way to do that. But I think this is a cool way to make this like intuitive, easy, painless, and I like it. But I'm going to undo our moves here for now, at least. We might come back and spend some orders on that guy in a second. Let's push a little bit further here. Ooh, he is hurting. Maybe that's across a river. Can't do anything better than that, can we? I suppose we could try to get this kill, route him over, and then get the spear over. Maybe that's the move. Kind of don't like leaving him out here without a ton of health, but we've got him out of the way. Now we can sling, was it this guy? This guy, even. No, this guy. up here because he's a spear and this is a horse. There's that. Route, double route. Again, I really don't like that I've left him so low health here. That better not come back to bite us. We'll find out. You come here. Yeah, I had a feeling there might be something else going on there. But maybe this works. Like so. Like so. We should at least move forward. How about you? What can you do from distance? Anything? Not really. I don't trust the fog. 9 times out of 10 it's fine, but that 1 time out of 10 you lose a unit, and that sucks. So I don't really want to mess around with that, especially for a slinger to do not that much damage. Maybe this is the turn we can actually upgrade them. We can afford that, and then if we sell all of that, we can also upgrade this one. Great. Okay, cool. That feels nice. How about out here? Yeah, this is bad now. Dang it. Thought we were done with these raids, you know? So, he's gone. We're not underreacting here, are we? I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Maybe we upgrade this guy to a militia just to be safe. I hate doing that. I wanted another worker here. But I kind of think we need to. We can't hide both of them in the city itself, or I guess we could put them here, but still. Okay, so then maybe we put, I would love to get the poke, but this is across a river, so it's not worth it. Guess we do this. We gotta chip away. We can't just heal for forever. This worker, though, probably should heal. If we have the space, we'll, or if we have the orders, we'll ask him to. Here, though, do we go for another quarry? Probably in this area. If we chain a few quarries together here, this can become a decent set of adjacency bonuses that'll make this a better spot. I don't know if we want to prioritize that quite yet. I think we do. And this is even a little bit cheeky to try to distract over here and spread them out. We go for that pasture. How about here? Do we want to prioritize bringing you forward yet? I don't think so. We don't even really know where the city site is. So I think we wait on that. And then here, what do we do with you? Maybe we just come down here and cut some scrub. We've been waiting for, finally, this apprentice acolyte. So that, by the way, is what the ambition we picked up last episode, right? We need to get 2 elder acolytes, and we'll have to build this guy. Only 2 turns, pretty fast in here, but we need to upgrade him to a master and then again to an elder. And then we got to do it a whole nother time, which I don't even know if we can do here. I'm actually pretty sure we can't. We'll have to find either another city that has one of those improvements, or I guess make another one of those improvements in this city. We'll see. That's 0. Oops. We have steel. Oh, good. All right, so... Oh, a free ballista. So we haven't done anything in the siege realm quite yet. And I like the way that they do siege in this. So this is an anti-infantry siege unit, and it is really anti-infantry because, as you can see, 6 damage is quite good for what we're doing these days already, but it has double attack against infantry. Not on defense, but on attack, which is pretty good. And, wow, it attacks Pierce +2 at 50%. So it shoots through a guy and hits the 2 guys behind him at 50%. Our spears poke at 25%, and that's neat, but it's not impressive. So this is actually like a pretty good unit. And I'm trying to remember, do we actually have the tech? I mean, I guess if we're getting a free unit. But I didn't know we had the tech to build those ourselves, and I guess, yeah, we don't yet. In fact, we're several decently expensive techs away from that. That's like, I think this might be, finally, the exception where I grab a free one-time unit. This is just so advanced and powerful compared to what we're working with that I think that's actually worth it. So I'm glad we found one where the calculus made sense to us, because I felt like I was just explaining away why this is like a thing that helps sometimes, but I'm not doing it now. So good. Let's see. I think we have to repair the damage here, buy a little bit of time to chip away at these. Yeah, I don't think we underreacted, but we came close to underreacting here. This guy will be important in the next turn, but we'll get to it. I'm wondering where the city site actually is. This one obviously is here, but I feel like there's another one north. Hatti and Babylonia at peace. Great, another tribal raid up north. This is where that slinger, who we wanted to to redeploy, is. Carthage doing the Oracle. Good, the riders are now converted to Judaism, and that has improved their opinion of us. Good, good, good. And guess who? It's finally not our husband, but it is someone who's in love with us. So we, I think, are still going to consider ourselves cursed in that way. And our heir and her husband, I guess, don't seem to get along very well. And wow. He's, what, declaring that if she ever takes the throne, that he will try to intervene? I don't think I care. He's basically saying we would have to change our law so that our youngest would take the throne. I don't think I care. He's getting a little bit older. He's going to start to fume. Of course, if he then kills our heir, we're going to be really irritated, because that'll be 2 that we've lost. But, oh, Babylon dealt with a wildfire last time too, so they are really catching some L's from Mother Nature. This is all punishment for their poisoning of our daughter previously, in my humble opinion. So, what do? They're in a moment of weakness, basically, is the framing of this event. Do we declare war and get some legitimacy for that? Do we leverage it to negotiate, sort of strong arm them into a peace? Or do we just catch some XP? We are already occupied militarily. I'm not scared of them, it's just like I don't see this as an opportunity. And I think that a peace is going to give us more stability and help us unite the general area against Oxum eventually, which would be hopefully helpful. So our Chancellor gets an upgrade. Do we want more training, more civics, more money? That training seems like a more impactful number compared to the others. And there's the city site, in fact. Okay. I think we can do some good work here, actually. On this turn, even. Do we sell out a little bit here? I think that we do. Ugh, crossing a river is bad. But, check this out. Right? We can route, kill, attack again. I'm telling you, route's good. If you spend the time to think about the best way to chain it together, it can be very helpful for you. We'll do that, and then give our... Nice. Give our heir the XP for the final kill. Brilliant. And the Numidian camp has been razed. A trusted advisor reveals that they lorded over the Danes for many generations and that the tribe's location and resources are highly prized. He is concerned that other barbarians will challenge our claim to the conquered site. The Danes are already at war with us. I don't think we care about irritating them. Having some extra pillage is nice. We could make them happy and take less pillage. Or we can burn it all down. You can always choose violence in this game. It's usually the bottom of the options for whatever reason. This is just dumb, though. For legitimacy is nothing, and that's just being spiteful. We'll take the money. And finally, we have completed this ambition for clearing 3 tribal sites. Plus 10 legitimacy, which is going to give us, in and of itself, another order per turn, essentially, and another 10 opinion to all of our families. That's not bad. It will also allow us to be granted by the game another couple of ambitions to choose between. You can always have 2 active. And most importantly, where's our settler? There he is. I guess this is 2 turns now. We did dilly-dally and having him keep up, but I honestly didn't think we were going to be able to strike that quickly. Let's get this guy back home to heal a little bit. Maybe making space by moving some of these archers out. See if we can't do a little bit of damage here too. And that's a kill. The Chancellor is wondering if we should give our general a party. So either she becomes disappointed with us, or, interesting, we lose Proud, which is a weakness, right? It's costing us 6 science per turn. Sorry, it's giving us 6 science per turn, but costing us 12 training per turn. And we improve the opinions of these 2 characters each. It does cost us stressed as a condition that we can offset by indulging in revelry. Kind of a messy set of circumstances, but I think this is the right answer. So let's do that. And then our general here. She is of the Spearman, okay. Steadfast Hill, I think Highlander, given how many hills we're in right now, makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's see, what are we doing here? Kem, what do you got for us? Border boosts, more horses. Kind of feels like that might be worthwhile. None of these give us anything else border-wise, right? So, or we could build an urban. Oh, actually, yeah, maybe this is the city where we do the upgrade to. Ugh, that's gonna be so many turns. Well, we do have. Let's see. Is there anywhere else we can build an apprentice acolyte? I.e., where are our other shrines? That's really the question we're asking. I don't think so. So this is it. It's basically here, or we have to build another shrine somewhere. So I guess we might as well. It'll happen eventually. This is looking like a bit of a concern, I guess. What do we do here? I feel like we have to heal there and hope we can upgrade in time for that unit, but this is... Let's just do some damage here, I guess. 8 HP feels like the most we can do. We should probably consider... Oh, do we have a... Oh, I guess we lost the militia unit that we upgraded our worker to over there. Must have. Not ideal. Maybe this guy gets relocated. I think we have the situation under control over here. In Meru, just keep repairing, buy ourselves more time. And then worker. I think maybe we'll try to bring this ship out here. I'm trying to stay 2 tiles away from the closest shore because I think that's the range for the Numidians. And let's go. Glad to see it. Not glad to see that. Yeah, that's a problem. This might also be. Man, Oxum is just cranking out wonders. We're gonna have to do something about that eventually. Alright, the Carthaginians are bothering the landowners. Interesting. So, do we grab 2 militia? And that's here, by the way. So maybe we do. Do we grab an ambition to capture 2 foreign cities? I don't think we do that. Tribal sites do not count for this. Do we grab 2 militia and the ambition to enact the Volunteers' Law? Let's take a look at that. So the Volunteers' Law is somewhere around here. Yeah, it counters the Professional Army Law. They're both decent, right? I think this is the worst one. 20 training per turn is nice in a vacuum, but it's not per city. It is per war, but it's just directly to your overall training rate, and it comes at the opportunity cost, because I'm never going to hurry population or hurry production with population. I don't like that, and it costs a lot of civics. Over here, you get more continuous training everywhere you have a treasury. It costs you money, but most importantly here, you get more XP from combat. I think this is the better law. More importantly though, these are both very far away. They require manor as a technology, which is not happening anytime soon because it is up here. This is like when we get the longbowmen and all of that era, right? Which is coming, by the way, which is kind of cool. But it's just a little bit too far away. We're certainly not going to give them the city. What the heck? So do we just take the downside and the opinion boost? How much do we care about that? Ugh, this will push them into bad territory. I do kind of want the militia, and we can abandon the ambition if we need to. Might regret that. We're doing it. All right, Duke Amos wants to become a clergy member. Interesting. He's a pretty well-rounded guy. He doesn't really like us, but he could serve as a governor for us. Oh, he's of age now, actually. No, he will be next turn. If he becomes a clergy member, he's not able to serve as any of those things, but he's able to quell religious dissent, which isn't a thing we really have to worry about right now. We are largely uniformly Jewish and don't have to worry about that necessarily. But he can serve as an agent in foreign Jewish cities. Or we take a minor opinion malice and give him more XP to become something else, anything else that we could actually use, and this would still stay above 100. I think we have to do it. All right, and then we need to indulge in revelry. This is like one of those one-off personal missions like we got with the Vengeance, like the Vengeance mission for Babylon earlier. So I think we'll just do this. $100, 2 orders. you know. But it's better than being stressed, even if there is a risk to becoming drunk or wanton. Go ahead and do that. And what else do we have here? Oh, nice. We have a nice little bonus here. Wow, okay. We can get a Bree specialist. That's cool. I wonder if that's a brand new one, or if it's just upgrading our existing one to Elder. Either way, we would take that. It's free turns. Or we grab a worker. Or just a ton of training. How about the scribe? I just am mostly, if anything, curious whether or not that's a brand new unit or the upgrade to our existing one. It is the upgrade to our existing one. Is it? Right, because we can't upgrade our scribe any further. And if I were to try to remember where our courthouse actually is, there it is. Here it is. It is now an elder scribe. Yeah, cool. Nice to know. All right, let's get out here. My goodness. I kind of just want to horse march this one. And found a city. So this will allow us to heal these units up and move the others out. Like, I think it's worth bringing the turn forward a little bit. We have the training. So what do we do here? The Riders is, I think, the one that we are quote-unquote due for. And they're going to get very annoyed if we pass over them. Is there a better fit here? We're probably not going to farm much. This is a bunch of hills. And I doubt we'll have a ton of specialists here either necessarily, because this isn't a high growth city. I think the answer here is we're up against mountains again. You can never have enough stone. We're barely starting to actually have a little bit of an eco here. I think this is another RGO focused rural specialist city. My concern is balancing the riders. So the question to me is just, is this fit, this objectively better fit, worth the opinion malice? And I kind of think it is, unfortunately for the riders. But they don't hate us, so I think we can get away with this. Done. The landowners now very much like us as well, which is good. Okay, that is a free ruins site at this point in the game. That's impressive. And then we probably next need to come on down here and clear this encampment. Of course, we have a little bit of work to do up here still. But I think, honestly, like what that makes me want to do is immediately queue up a settler. Is anyone else going to be able to build it faster and then send it across? Not really, right? Yeah. Okay. Right away. Directly into another settler here. And then what do we do for these guys? So he needs to get up here. He also should heal along the way. These militia are nicely timed. I think we will put them here. Run him out, gosh, this way. Him there. And then see if we can't upgrade him to an archer so that he can come help bail out things over here. Because in the meanwhile, you desperately have to keep healing. You keep repairing. Poor Moreau. Caught more attacks than the rest of our entire civilization combined. And that answer isn't 0 everywhere else either, so yikes. Okay, then what do we do with the rest of these? So I think these injured units, certainly, we heal up directly. And then I think maybe what we do here is kind of chip away at these guys Can we do it from where we already are? Can. Would you like to see? Secure the kill, risk the unit. I think we do here. Just because 3 to 1, just suddenly, this becomes a lot better, even if I am typically worried about emerging from the fog. I think that's okay here. This guy, though, I think we send out here, maybe to go grab the ruins, but certainly to start scouting out this direction because, yeah, we're definitely going to start moving down there, which is awesome. We already talked about stressed. We have, yeah, these militia are going to stay right where they are, and then a bunch of workers. Is anyone in danger, workers-wise? No. I mean, yes, but we're not going to do anything about it. And then over here, should this guy get started on another quarry, for example? I think that's probably not the best use necessarily right now. Maybe what we do, could get him in place for a mine, or this guy for yet another range over here, I guess would be the answer to that. It's like not that good of a farm. Let's do this. So I'm putting all of our barracks range units around this garrison because there's an adjacency bonus for it. We need more money. And there we go. Here, what are we building? Yeah, we just got to keep upgrading this guy. And then over here, interesting question. Do we go specialist? Doesn't add anything borders-wise. This certainly would. Do we want this city to take these tiles, though? We kind of want this city to take those tiles. Maybe we just grab the stonecutter, regardless. And we're not going to build any units anytime soon that are going to move the needle there. So yeah, stonecutter, civics, always happy to take that. And then what do we have left here? Try to keep moving this sad little ship more by one bore. Okay, well that said, I think we're going to leave it here. It's very good to have yet another tribal site cleared and another city placed. This area is starting to come a little bit more into focus, and I am glad that we've pivoted over here. You know, I think early on, right, I was thinking we have to push out here and contest where, you know, it was very obvious that all of the major competitors were going to be scrapping for sites. But I'm kind of thinking, I've kind of evolved my thinking that, like, we have a huge chunk of the map to ourselves up here. And if instead, if we focus on securing that area, which is still a military, you know, excursion to go conquer all of these sites, we'll have all of the upside without any of the downside. And by that I mean we'll still have a bunch of different city sites. We wouldn't have been able to conquer this area any faster than we were able to conquer up here, but we've also secured our borders, right? We're not going to get sandwiched because we started in the middle, right? And that's ish, at least. I think that's worth keeping in mind. That's a tough strategic position to be in. We started by thinking we were sandwiched by this mountain range and that we were safe over here, and now it's kind of evolved a little bit as we've learned the map a little better. And so I really think that sort of securing this entire quadrant of the map is going to allow us to be as big as we could possibly have been if we competed well in the center area with as much of a leveled up and experienced army as we would have had, but without any of the conflict that we would have had with these other civilizations. The tribes are going to be eliminated. It's just what happens. So it doesn't matter that we've made them mad. But what we haven't had to do is fight Oxum way too early for a city site. What we haven't had to do is alienate potential future allies like Hati fighting over these city sites. So I think this has actually been a good strategic pivot. I'm not going to pretend like I foresaw any of this happening necessarily at all, but as it's kind of, revealed itself to us, we have adjusted and leaned into it. And I think that that has been the right decision, even if we are occasionally dealing with some nonsense here and there. So I'm happy with the direction things have gone here, and I'm starting to feel like we have momentum again. Dropping a city per episode is a good pace for expansion, and hopefully that'll get even faster here as we get even larger. So, do you see the snowball? I don't see it happening yet, but I can see how it will happen. That's where I'm at. I see the vision. Do you? Let me know. Let me know. I am continuing to have an absolute blast playing Old World. I hope you are enjoying watching it. If you are, definitely make sure to come on by again next one. You will probably watch us finish securing this peninsula and start to think about, gosh, what do we do afterwards? And that will be a question of who we pick our first big fight with in general, other nations. So let's see. We are starting to soon be in the space where we can think about that and start having those conversations. So look forward to it. Until next time, though, have a great rest of your day, and bye-bye.